Got to do it. Welcome to Headlocks, Heels, and Havoc, the wildest mixed tag team in podcasting, where the kayfabe drops and the chaos takes over. Let's ring the damn bell.
Headlocks tight, heels on the prowl, dropping elbows, hearing growl, feel the foul. No script here, just real, no bluff. Kayfabe crack, now the dirt gets rough. Headlocks, heels, havoc in the zone. Step in the ring, chaos is your home. No filters, no mask, just raw bare tone. Wrestling unscripted, we on the throne. Title bells, mic checks, crowd going crazy. Drop truth bombs, leaving lines feeling hazy. Beyond the kayfabe, past the charade, where legends are born and stories get made. Headlocks poppin', who's hitting the mat? Welcome to the Havoc where the real talk's at. Tune in, step through, leave the fake at the door. Headlocks, heels, Havoc, now hear the roar.
Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. I am one half of the greatest tag team in this podcasting business, the legend J-Mac. With me, as always, is everybody's favorite uncle and my favorite tag team partner, Uncle Slam.
What's up, family?
And we're going to have to put this man as part of the six-man tag team champions over here, Mr. JD and everything, the bad guy. Y'all know who he is. Give him a little round of applause.
Hey, yo.
How's everybody doing this week?
Pretty good. Can't complain.
It's always a good thing not to have to complain about anything, you know. I mean, I ain't never found the complaint department anyway, so I don't know, you know.
Me neither. I'm cool. I got my new apparel in finally, so I'm happy. You can only see a little bit of it here, but I got the Mayhem Diamond on. Shout out to Austin Diamond and Scott Diamond.
Mm-hmm.
So head over to our storefront and pick it up. But it looks great. It came out amazing. And shout out to Robbie, to Robbie H, Mayhem Zecto, our graphic artist. He is just, the best right now. I mean, the stuff he comes up with is just crazy. So
good guy too, man.
Yeah, he is.
I've talked to him a few times. He's a good guy. Well, guys, I got a few stories this week. I got one major story at the end of this. Well, I got two major stories, but one is starting to become suspicious, but we'll handle that at the end of the day. You know how I start this off. I'm always, and I figured you would be a good guest to have on here because we're JD, because we're going to do a little discussion here in a minute about your favorite wrestler of all time and his accomplishments. So bear with me and we will get to that for you.
Excellent. I love that.
But I was going through stuff, and of course, I think it was about 40 years ago today. Let's see. Here are the ratings from the PWI, Pro Wrestling Illustrated. You would have been reading 40 years ago this month. Hard to believe that of the 30 men listed, only 13 are still with us, and incredibly, 40 years later, Ricky Morton of the Rock and Roll Express still competes totally regular at the age of 69. But they had the top 10, which was Ric Flair at number 1, Hulk Hogan at number 2, Stan Hansen at number 3. Now, those were the three major world champions in America at the time, NWA, WWF, and AWA.
Yeah, that would put this about, 1986?
Well, 40 years ago, yeah, it'd be 86. Okay. Then you got, let's see, Magnum TA is the U.S. champion at number 4. Randy Savage, the Intercontinental champion at number 5. Rick Rude, the World Class champion. Well, this may have had to have been a little bit earlier than maybe 86 because I don't think Rude came in until about 84, 85, did he? Something like that.
Well, I don't know what the world class champion. That sounds like one of the not one of the mainstream ones.
No, that was World Class Championship Wrestling. The Von Erichs.
Yeah, I gotcha. Yep.
Yeah. Let's see. Then you had Kerry Von Erich, who was the number 1 contender to the World Class title.
Yeah.
Dusty Rhodes, number 1 contender to the national title. Tully Blanchard, the national champion, and that was before they had the United States champion. Well, no, they did. They had the U.S. champion.
No, the national champion was AWA or NWA.
I think, yeah. And then Hacksaw Jim Duggan was number 10. I was like, that's a crazy top 10 to think that I don't know. It just it blew my
Well,
mind.
think of about it now, yeah, but back in the day, I mean, it probably made a whole lot of sense.
Right. Then you got the Road Warriors.
Yeah.
As far as the tag teams, you had the Road Warriors, who were the number one contenders for the NWA World Tag Team titles, which I think it's kind of funny that they weren't even the champions and they were the number one tag team in the nation.
Because they're the Road Warriors.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you got the British Bulldogs, who were the WWF World Tag Team Champions.
Yeah.
Midnight Express were the NWA World Tag Team Champions. Scott Hall and Kurt
What
Hennig
the heck?
were the AWA World Tag
number
Team
4?
Champions at number 4.
At number 4, that is crazy.
And that's back when Scott Hall was doing the whole pretty much the same kind of gimmick that Magnum TA was doing with the whole Magnum PI kind of look with the big thick mustache. And then you got the Rock and Roll Express, the number 2 contenders to the NWA Tag Team titles, the Fantastics, which I just became friends with on Facebook with Bobby Fulton. So thank you, Bobby, for that friendship. Would love to get you on the show one day. Greg Valentine and Brutus Beefcake, the Dream Team, the Fabulous Ones. Yeah.
Greg Valentine and Brutus Beefcake. That's a weird one.
It always seemed like a weird one to me too, but I mean, they were tag team champions. I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
let's see. You got this is what kills me is you got the Fabulous Ones at 8, but then at 9, you've got 2 people off the singles list.
Yeah.
That are a tag team in Magnum TA and Dusty Rhodes. And then, of course, you got rounding it out with the top 10, you got the Iron Sheik and Nikolai Volkov. I love going back and seeing all this older stuff like this and everything because it's like it brings back so many memories of who was on top at the time, what was going on in wrestling at the time and everything. Because, like I said, you got
changed.
Yes, because look, Magnum TA, it was before the accident, when all the potential and the promise was still there, of him being the Hulk Hogan for the NWA and stuff like that and everything. I love watching stuff like that. We got a couple comments. We got the Wolfman in the house, Mayhem Media for life. Let's see. He said, Wolfman out. Have an awesome show, brothers. Thank you, sir. Thank you for stopping by and giving us a couple comments and showing support.
We're past his bedtime, I believe.
Right. That's all right, though. We appreciate him stopping in and everything. Let's see. I got a couple more little goofy things here to get us started and everything, and then we'll get on to the more serious stuff. All right. So this list right here. The top row, middle row, and third row. You got to retire one, rehire one, and revive one from his eternal rest. Uncle Slam, we'll start with you. Who you retiring, who you rehiring, and who you reviving?
Now, is this from like any column or what? Or like, do I have to do like the top 3? I have to pick somebody to retire.
The top row is retire, the middle row is rehire, and the last row is revive.
All right, let's see. We got what's that? Cody, Seth, and Roman.
Yep. What do you say, Dave? Man, good to have you in the house, man.
I'm probably going to say Roman. I'm going to retire him just because he's getting ready to do movies anyway. What left do you have to prove? Rehire. Who we got here? Daniel Bryan.
I believe that's Edge. And
Edge.
Adam Cole.
Adam Cole, baby.
And then what's the third one?
Adam Cole from used to be in the WWE NXT champion.
Oh,
he was a bigger star in AEW when he's not injured. Adam Cole has a injury-prone problem. Yes. I'm an Adam Cole fan, but I have to admit that he has an injury-prone problem.
All right, I'm probably going to rehire Edge then. And revive, who we got? What, Eddie?
That's the tough one right there. That's the tough one.
What's Eddie that? Bray and Umaga.
Oh, shit. Oh, God. My heart is really saying Eddie because I really loved Eddie.
I know.
But for some reason, my brain wants to say Bray just because I really didn't get to see a ton of him. Like I saw when he started out, I didn't get to see once he switched the whole Firefly and all that. I really wasn't tuned into wrestling like a whole bunch, so I kind of missed a lot of that. And I know a lot of people talk about how great that was. Like when he switched that character. Um, but I'm probably gonna say Eddie though, like I said, but just
Hmm.
because I loved Eddie, man. Like I said, I
Yeah,
loved all his characters. Like I loved his moves.
even back to
That one,
WCW.
yeah, that one, like promo he gave, against Brock Lesnar when he was talking about the addiction and
Oh
I'm
yeah.
addicted to this, I'm addicted to that, and I'm
Yeah.
addicted to my family, and seeing the smile on my little girl's face and shit, and that shit got to me. So I would, yeah,
Yep. So, Dave, you said rehire Edge. Who would you retire and who would you revive, sir? Leave your answer in the comments, please, sir. And yes, Uncle Slam, that is our Dave. He said, good
Dave,
choice.
what's up?
He said, good choice, my friend, with Eddie Guerrero. Okay, JD, who you got?
Well, retire is real easy. I would retire Roman Reigns. I've never really been a fan of him. The only thing that I think has been good is the bloodline thing, which I'm also going to talk about a little bit later with Umaga. But yeah, I think Roman Reigns' time is up. I think people are going to be done with him again sooner, not later. So I think I would retire Roman Reigns. I think Seth Rollins can still go in the ring, and I think Cody Rhodes still has some more to offer yet too. So definitely retire Roman Reigns. Rehire. I think Daniel Bryanson or Brian Danielson, whichever you prefer to call him.
Right.
I think he's probably done at this point. I think unless you could rehire him in his prime, I don't. I think he's probably finished. So it would come down to Edge and Adam Cole. And I'm a big Edge fan, but I think he's on his last run in AEW right now. So I think he's about finished too. So I would rehire Adam Cole, baby, but I would not let him wrestle in the ring. I would make him the spokesperson for a stable and just be like, dude, you're done in the ring. I'm not letting you get injured again. You're far more valuable on the mic than you are in the ring anyway. Story time with Adam Cole, baby. Everybody in the crowd loves it. You don't need to. That's what I would do. I would not let him wrestle, though. I don't really Cody's story, fine, yeah, fine. But again, it's more that I'm not a fan of Roman Reigns. I think Cody still has value, and I think Seth Rollins still has value on the retire part. So that's why I chose Roman Reigns and Adam Cole because, like I said, I would make him a spokesperson. He's good on the mic. And revive, man, this was the tough one. When I saw this, I was like, dang. The first two aren't real hard choices, but this one was the hardest, man. Because like Uncle Slam said, I want to go Eddie. I've been watching Eddie since back in WCW days. I watched him. He was one of the first people who tried to be a face. People weren't really reacting to him. He turned into a heel and became a star. And then eventually, as a heel, when you're a heel long enough, you can go back and forth and be a face or a heel and maintain your level of popularity, right? It's been done so many times. The Rock is another perfect blueprint of someone who tried as a face, no one wanted it, so he turned heel, and then eventually got everybody's respect. So I think Eddie was one of the first people to actually effectively do that. So, and as a fan, how do you not want to bring Eddie back? He's so entertaining in the ring, out of the ring. It doesn't matter.
Right.
So I really want to go with Eddie, but I think if Umaga had stayed alive, that would have added a whole different dynamic to the bloodline. But even more than that, I think one of the best storytellers that we've seen in a long time was Bray Wyatt. And I would have loved to have seen it. The Wyatt 6, I get it. It was a terrible thing. Nobody wanted it. And it's because it wasn't being led by Bray Wyatt. And the fans knew that. The WWE wasn't doing it right. They didn't know how. I don't blame the WWE for that. But I would want to see more Bray Wyatt more than I'd want to see the other two guys, I think. Because I think Bray Wyatt was revolutionary in a lot of the stuff that he did. So I think I would revive Bray Wyatt.
All righty. I'm going to get to a couple of these comments on Facebook real quick. Andrew Paletto said, "Hey, guys, I hear JD, but I don't see him."
That's me behind the screen here.
Yeah, I've got the visual up on the screen, JD. I'll have, or not JD, Andrew. I'm about to say Adam. Lord, I don't know who I'm talking to today. Andrew, I'll have that down in a second so you can see him again. Buddy of mine, Jimmy, who's going to come and join us tomorrow at EWA. He's joining us by watching. Appreciate that, Jimmy. Shout out to you, and go check him out. I don't know if Jimmy's still doing his stand-up comedy, but if he is, go check him out, man. He's a good guy. I haven't had the privilege of seeing any of his stand-up, but if it's anything like him, I know it's good. Let's see. Andrew said Magnum TA recently did a podcast with Dale Earnhardt Jr., and it was great.
Oh, and man, I'm going to have to look for that.
Right. And the savior of wrestling, Chad Casey, he just said retire Roman, rehire Edge, and revive Bray. He said revive would be a big toss-up between Bray and Eddie, though.
Yep.
I agree with that.
I couldn't agree more. Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
For me,
I was only going to say I only threw out Umaga because of the bloodline story. What element could that have added with Umaga and his kids?
Right.
Being in there, that could have been that's the feud, The Rock versus Umaga. That's the feud we didn't get without Umaga. So sorry to cut you off, J-Man.
Oh, you're good. I was just going to say, if I'm going to go retire, and I hate to say this because I do think that he can go in the ring, but we discussed this a couple of weeks ago on the show. I think that I think the company has given up on Seth for the same reasons of Adam Cole. I think he's too injury prone. It's I'm not saying I'm a huge Roman fan or I'm a huge Cody fan. I like them both, but they're reliable. And Seth, you never know, man. You put that title on him, and the next thing you know, he's out for 6 months. And I hate to say that because he's a phenomenal wrestler when he's healthy. So for me, it's going to have to be Seth to retire. Rehire, I'm not a particular fan of any of these three, but if I'm going to go rehire, and I'm not saying any particular age, whether it be now, later, 20 years ago or whatever, but I don't know. I would probably either go Edge or Danielson for the same reasons, just the injury proneness to Adam Cole. Adam Cole's probably I don't want to say better because Danielson's pretty good in the ring, but Cole can go in the ring too. So, when he's healthy, just like Rollins, when he's healthy, he can go. So for me, it's probably going to be Edge on the rehire. The revive guys, just like you all, man, this is just hard, and it's going to narrow down between Eddie and Bray, but I just like Uncle Slam, I've got to go with Eddie just because of the nostalgia, and I love Eddie so much. But yeah, that's my choices on that. Like I said, just another little fun thing to start us off here with. Got a little fantasy card here. See what y'all think about this. Got Sting, the Surfer Sting versus Cody Rhodes. You got Psycho Sid versus Brock Lesnar. Seth Rollins versus Rick Rude. World Championship match would be Luger. I don't know why they got Luger as the world champion, or maybe he's not. Maybe it's Roman, but I still don't like this matchup. Luger and Roman Reigns. China versus Rhea Ripley. I like that. Let's see. Special legacy match. Jerry Lawler versus Terry Funk. The Midnight Express versus the Usos. I would like that if it wasn't going to be a super kick party. CM Punk versus Roddy Piper.
Oh, geez, that is the worst piece of crap on this poster. I'm sorry. That's the worst.
Bruiser Brody versus Oba Femi with no DQs. Now that would be a brawl. Yeah. Straight up brawl.
Yeah.
The Big Cat Ernie Ladd versus Gunther.
That'd probably be pretty good.
Yep. In a 2 out of 3 falls match. This would probably be my favorite match on the card.
Yeah, this would be
Gable versus Angle. I think that would be a great match. And we're going to get into Gable a little bit later because AJ Styles said something about him. But I think Gable is one of the best wrestlers out there today who's not getting promoted as like a big time wrestler. Let's see. Andrew said Midnight Express all the way. Sorry, what'd you say, Uncle Slam?
I said, well, he's getting his push now.
Yes, and he needs to because he's a beast. You got Muda versus Penta in a ladder match. Let me get that out of the way so I can see the rest of that down there because I believe there's another match down there.
Underneath it says Dirty Dom versus Eddie Guerrero. That would be quite the match.
Yes. Let's
Kong versus Jade Cargill. Who made that's? I don't know
right.
what that is. What is
that? And then Hawk versus Braun Breaker.
There's actually one more down there at the bottom, bro. Hold on.
Oh,
I'm trying to see what it is. Yeah, it's something. It's somebody against Lita.
I can't see it. Let me go in here and see if.
But it's someone against Lita, and then I also don't understand that last one. Hawk versus Breaker.
Yeah, I didn't understand that one either.
Steiner versus Braun Breaker.
Right, that's what I was thinking. Let me see. Lita versus.
A lot of them are good though. I like a lot of those matchups.
Sol Ruka versus Lita.
Okay.
And I know Uncle Slam would like that match because he's a big Lita and Sol Ruka fan.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But yeah, I would pay to see this on pay-per-view.
Yeah,
I'd pay to see it all day long.
Yeah,
I can go to the bathroom. I can go to the bathroom during the Punk Piper match. I can get popcorn versus the Hawk Breaker match.
Yeah.
I just want to see that match for why. Why did we do that?
I am going to watch Awesome Kong and Jade Cargill because I want to see which one of them legitimately knocks out or seriously injures the other one first.
Shouldn't that be Kong versus Nia Jackson?
See?
Yeah.
I agree. I 100% agree because those are two women who were just bigger than the situation. Let's see.
I never heard it put like that. Bigger than
yeah. That's one way to put it. Yeah, certainly. Oh, they didn't know their size. Yeah, because they're 6 years old.
Let's see. I think this was aimed at you, JD. It says Piper couldn't shine Punk's shoes.
Oh, shut
and
up.
That's from Mr. Paletto.
I'm going to remove. I'm going to stop
that.
saying popcorn and whiskey is my favorite show if you keep saying off the wall nonsense, crazy stuff like that. I understand you're a Punk fan. You can be a Punk fan, but to say something like that is now you're just.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't as far and I don't want to get off on too much of a tangent with Piper. I love Piper, but I do not think Piper was a very good wrestler. I think he could wrestle.
He was a better performer than he was a wrestler.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes.
But see, the problem is, and no one's ever been able to explain it to me, is I don't get Punk. I don't get it. I
think he's a good wrestler.
Any part of his character, of his shtick, I don't get it. But the problem is, I've never had any Punk fan be able to explain it to me. Short of, if you ignore who he is as a person and accept his character, then it's good.
I think that's what it was he was that straight edge, whatever that was, right around that time that all that, I can be edgy and still not, and I'm not saying you should go out and do drugs to be edgy or anything like that, but he was like, I don't need drugs and I don't need to be a criminal or a vandal or anything like that to be edgy. I can just be edgy because I'm me. And I think that was kind of a little movement that was going on around the time that he took off.
It must have been.
And it just, because I don't really care for it. I've never really been a huge Punk fan. I think he's an okay wrestler. I think he's a better wrestler than Piper. But as far as like overall, I don't know. I don't think I don't know. I don't see.
I think he was like anti-Cena at the time. He was just kind of opposite. So maybe that's kind of why people like him. But I do get the whole straight edge movement and stuff because that was a big thing back then. And just being different, not being mainstream or being like everybody else.
That was the whole reason my sons liked him was because of the straight edge stuff.
But I'm kind of like you. Like he was he was all right. Like I don't hate him, but I've never been a huge fan. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not going to be buying gear.
I don't know. I don't know how you can present yourself as an anti-establishment character and then be backstage telling the higher ups who you want to work with and who you don't want to work with.
Entitlement.
There you go, right there. Entitlement is why I don't like CM Punk. Are you listening, Andrew? I hope you're still tuning in.
All righty. So we got 0 world titles in the WWE, 0 world titles in the WWE for Goldust, Dustin Rhodes, Cesaro, Claudio Castanilla. I think I said his name right. And
Claudio Castagnoli.
Castagnoli, okay. And then Rusev, aka Miro. And at the same time, they had 0 world titles in AEW. Do you think both these companies like have messed up with these people? Because I think that AEW, I think, we were talking the other day, Uncle Slam, about AEW. I just want a company besides WWE to come up with a moment. You know what I'm saying? A moment that just makes everybody. I don't care if it's TNA. I don't care if it's AEW. I don't care who it is. I just need another NWO type moment, another Attitude Era type moment for one of these companies to come up to. Could you not tell me that Dustin Rhodes becoming the AEW World Champion, even if it's for a month, from pay-per-view to pay-per-view, that wouldn't be enough of a moment to get eyes looking over there more?
I don't think speaking as an AEW fan, I don't think he wanted it. I don't think he would have accepted the AEW World title from Tony Khan. I don't know. I get what you're trying to go for there. And yeah, it would have been a cool moment, but I think they just kind of had one of those with CM Punk. I don't want to hear if it's Andrew's commenting. I know it is. But listen, I think they just had one of those kind of things with Darby Allin. I think it was, I don't know that how many people would have bought when Dustin Rhodes was in AEW, him being the world champion. He's definitely past his prime. He knows he's past his prime. He's just looking to have good runs and good matches up until the end. I don't think he would have taken the world title. So I don't know that was a choice by the back people or himself on the AEW front. In the WWE front, Goldust was never going to be the world champion.
No, unfortunately. I mean, fortunately, because I didn't want to see Goldust as the world champion. I would have been happy with Dustin Rhodes. You know what I'm saying? Coming out of the Goldust outfit. I'm not doing this no more. I'm going to be me, blah, blah, blah. He didn't have to necessarily dress like with the cowboy boots and stuff like that, like he was in early WCW days. But I would have loved to. The man is so good in the ring. And I'm going to be honest with you. Dustin, between Dustin, and Cody, Dustin is the best out of all three of them.
Ring. Definitely. I would agree with that completely. Dustin has added moves to his arsenal of moves deep into his career, and there not many other wrestlers have done that.
Right. What do you think, Uncle Slam?
I would definitely have to go with Dusty, but I don't know if it's just more for like sentimental reasons, just because I've seen him go through WCW, I've seen him in WWF, I see him have to be stuck with the Goldust gimmick or whatever. I don't know if Vince kind of hated him and his pops both equally, because one had polka dots and one was Goldust. So both their gimmicks were both kind of, but they made them work. You know what I'm saying? Like, as fucked up as it is, they still made that shit work. They still sold that shit. But I don't know if I can see him carrying like an AEW or a WWE championship now. Maybe in the past, maybe I could have, but not now and stuff. I think he's past his prime.
Yeah. I fully believe he's past his prime. I think just as a here's a trophy championship because you deserve it. You've been here long enough.
But I don't think he wanted it. Just like Sting, he didn't want a singles title. He didn't want a singles match.
Right.
That's what I like. That's one thing that I say I like about AEW is that they're giving some of these guys who want a run of their own, they're giving them an opportunity to tell some of their story, like on their way out, like with Cody, with Sting. Some of these guys with Edge and Christian are going to get the tag story that they want to end their career. It's just they get more freedom in AEW because it's done. Things are done a little differently. And I don't know if you were going to comment, J-Mac, or you want me to talk about the next one down?
Well, hold on just a second, because Andrew wanted me to say that he thinks popcorn and whiskey will be going straight edge.
What's that mean? You're adding blow to the show? Hey man, you might have me. You might have me.
No, I just wanted everybody's opinion overall. If both companies have like
would
kind
like to
of
point
blown
out
it with the others.
That I would like to point out that Claudio Castagnoli, I can't remember what his name was in WWE. Cesaro. He was a Ring of Honor world champion in AEW, but he had got a good Ring of Honor world title run as the champion while he was in AEW. So he did get a Ring of Honor world title run. He didn't get an AEW title run, but he did get a Ring of Honor world title run. And so I just wanted to point that out.
Right. What about you, Uncle Sam? You think that they've kind of wasted it on all three guys, both companies, or
see, I've never been a huge fan of like a lot of the other guys. You know, Cesaro. I've always seen him kind of as a mid-tier guy and stuff. The other ones too, you know, like just, so I don't know if it's just they wasn't that guy or I'm just not that into them, so I just don't, you know what I'm saying? Like I can't envision them getting any higher than like what they are right now. You know, like just I guess being biased or whatever, you know. I don't see them getting any higher. That don't mean that they shouldn't or they don't have the ability to. I just don't see them that way.
Hello, the baby J.
I think if Rusev got a chance at one of the companies for longer than 6 months and they let him actually do some, you know, character building and storytelling, I think that your visual is correct on Rusev, I believe. I think both companies dropped the ball on him.
I do too. And I think the WWE is continuing to drop the ball on him.
Yes,
I think they're trying to give him like an Intercontinental right now and stuff. You know, he's still wrapped up in all that with Ethan Page. I guess to bring him over.
He should have been brought in as a monster again.
Yeah.
I thought that's the way they brought him in, but you know,
they've let him fade out.
Rey Mysterio Jr. and shit. So.
Yep.
Let's see. We've got a couple more comments on Facebook. Andrew said WWE missed the opportunity when Cody versus Roman was going on with the family angle. They should have brought in Dustin for a Cody's family part of it. And my son Noah is on here. He said, yes, sir. What's up, fellas? What's up, son? Love you. Hope you're having a good night. I know you're getting ready to go to work. No, you at work. Yeah, you have a good night and all that stuff. I don't know who this is. The baby J. Can I have a PC? Yeah, we're not dealing with that. Sorry about your luck. I appreciate the comments and the interaction. That always helps. But, you know.
Yep.
Whatever. Yeah. I'm not entertaining all that. All righty. So let me ask you a question, guys. When I pop this belt up, who's the first person that comes to your mind when you see it? And it doesn't necessarily have to be the white version either. Any version of the Intercontinental Championship. Who's the first person that comes to your mind when you think Intercontinental Champion? Uncle Slam?
I hate to even say it. I hate to say it.
Shawn Michaels.
I hate to say it. That's why I'm not saying it, but I hate to say it. Like the white belt. I hate to say it.
See, for the white belt, for the white belt.
Say it, but you know who the fuck it is. Like I said, just go ahead with it.
Well, I'm hoping you don't think he's cute and you don't think he's sexy.
No,
but he's definitely the greatest to ever lace up a pair of boots.
I ain't even saying that shit, but yeah, but you asked a question, so I gave an answer, okay?
I need to get some knee highs on. It's getting deep around here.
Let's see. Dave said Seth Rollins is who he thinks of with the Intercontinental Championship. Let's see. Yeah, who JD, what about you? Who do you think of?
Unfortunately, just kind of like that. Unfortunately, for the white belt, the first thing that I think of is the Ultimate Warrior, and he is not the best or even ranked anywhere in the Intercontinental Championship.
I don't think he ever had the white belt.
Didn't he? I thought he could have sworn he had the white belt.
He had the yellow belt.
Oh, did it? Was it yellow?
Yeah, because he had the yellow at WrestleMania. Him and Hogan fought. I believe it was 5.
Well, then
6, something like that.
Then the white belt doesn't make me think of anything. But when I see the Intercontinental belt, honestly, I kind of think of Mr. Perfect. It wasn't he was the Intercontinental champion. Yeah, I kind of think of Mr.
But
Perfect.
He never had the white belt, did he? See,
no.
Like when he asked about the white belt, I think of Shawn. But if I think Intercontinental, I kind of with you. I do think Mr. Perfect.
Yeah, because I always think he should have been for him. It should have been just like some of the other stars. It should have been a stepping stone from the Intercontinental
Yes,
title to the World title.
Yep.
one of the greatest that never got a world champ.
Yeah,
Yep.
100%.
He definitely should have been a WWE champion. See, for me, it's that Intercontinental title is kind of a four-way tie for me. I mean, not just the white one, just the Intercontinental title in itself. I'm torn. It's Shawn, Brett, because of my argument that they carried the company while fighting over that title, while everybody else was, not caring what was going on with the world title at the time. And then the other two is Mr. Perfect and the Macho Man. I
I was
don't
gonna
know
say,
if I don't know of anybody else other than maybe Brett and Shawn that benefited from being an Intercontinental champion first than the Macho Man Randy Savage.
I was thinking about him too. I'd also like to say that if I'm thinking of an Intercontinental title feud, I think of Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock, and their feud over the
Yeah.
Intercontinental title before they were fighting over the world title.
Yeah, it was a pretty good when he threw it in the river and stuff.
Precisely when he threw that belt in the river in The Rock's face, dude. I'll remember that for a long
Even
time.
though it wasn't even the real belt. Let's see. We got a couple more comments coming in here. Let's see who we got. Dave said, just remember when Brett got screwed. Man, Dave, you remember you seen Vince talk about it. Brett screwed Brett, man. Come on. We know the argument on that.
Don't get me started on this shit. But if we're talking about Intercontinental, I mean, like nobody said the honky tonk, like nobody said Gunther.
No, and honestly and truthfully, as much as I don't think he himself brought the prestige to the title as far as Honky Tonk Man. I give him his flowers. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't the best wrestler. It wasn't the best gimmick in the world, but it was definitely, evil Elvis was definitely over enough to where people hated it. Yeah. And especially in the South. And, I'm not going to say that I think that he did anything for the title. I think the title definitely did more for him, but his reign is what made the title kind of a prestigious title because everybody wanted to be that longest reigning Intercontinental. And that was his claim to fame. I can say I'm the longest reigning Intercontinental champion, and he could say it for close to 40 years.
You don't think Gunther benefited from the belt?
I think Gunther, I don't mean to cut you off, I'm saying, I think Gunther's reign is too recent. I don't think we know what Gunther's reign is yet. Just like, I think that passage of time is really how you can really judge someone's title reign. Was it good and what is it not good? In the moment, I think Gunther had a great reign with the Intercontinental title. Is it going to be ranked up there with some of the best all time? I don't know. I don't think enough time has passed to see how that stacks up with other stuff that's going on.
If I had to answer that right now, I would say definitely no. Now, in 20 years, when he's had a couple world title runs or, things of that nature and everything, I don't know if maybe that'll change. But just like with, Honky Tonk Man, other than the Intercontinental Championship, he never really done anything else.
But with difference between the Honky Tonk is Gunther's actually using the Intercontinental as a stepping stone to get to that world champion, as with Honky just stayed the mid-tier and just stayed Intercontinental champ.
Right, and then he went with the rhythm and blues thing, and I think after a while with Honky Tonk Man, and I think a little bit it was kind of the changing of the guard into that new generation. People weren't buying those gimmicky, cartoony, the bad guy Elvis. I don't think people were buying that as much anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But he did bring us Billy Gunn, so.
Right. Billy.
Just so we're clear, I wouldn't choose Honky Tonk Man. He wouldn't be on my list. Like, I would pick Gunther ahead of Honky Tonk Man for who did more with the belt or whatever like that. Like a conversation like that, I would definitely pick Gunther over Honky Tonk Man. But I don't think of Gunther when I see a picture of the Intercontinental belt. I usually go to the Austin Rock feud or to a Mr. Perfect, Ultimate Warrior, Macho Man kind of a thing.
And I even think of Honky Tonk Man before I think of Gunther, just at this point. You know what I'm saying?
That might be also because I didn't watch a lot of WWE when Gunther during his main Intercontinental run and
See,
stuff.
like I came late to the party on Gunther too, but I know that he kind of held it a while. You know, he was very dominant when he did have it.
Gunther. We're gonna be talking about Gunther as one of the best, whatever Intercontinental World Title. Like in 10 years, we'll definitely be having that conversation.
Oh yeah. All righty, moving on. I have got, this is the part, one of the reasons why I invited JD on. And speaking of which, Mr. Paletto, we'll have to get you in on one of these recap shows too one day. Definitely have to bring you in, buddy. Let's see, Sting. We have got Mr. Sting here and most of his accomplishments. I got to looking at this and it doesn't have his world television title on here and everything. But as far as his accomplishments, and between TNA, AEW, WWE, which really wasn't any accomplishment because he didn't win anything, and that's not his fault. And then of course NWA, WCW. Where would you all now be objective here, JD? Don't just be fanboying on him, but objectively, where would you put Sting and rank him all time with his accomplishments? Uncle Slam, we'll let you go first since JD's the big Sting fan, and we'll let him kind of round us out.
Well, see, I mean, I'm a big Sting fan too. I ain't gonna lie. Like in WCW, like I love Sting. I mean, like Sting was my guy. So he's in my top 10. I mean, just be honest and shit. Like I'm not even gonna lie. Like he's not number one or anything, but he's, like if I'm picking my top 10 wrestlers, Sting's definitely in my top 10.
Mm-hmm.
As far now, like what was exactly the question? And
so
where would I
rank him? Your personal top 10 is where he would be. Where would you rank him objectively?
Objectively, as far as
all time. If you had to look at him as a non-fan and you just analyzed his matches and stuff, where would you rank Sting all time? And please, everybody, leave your comments in the thing. We will get to them, and we'd love to hear what you all got to think about Sting too.
Not you, Andrew.
See, because Sting was one of those guys, like I said, he was kind of like Taker. He didn't need the belt, to be popular. He was that, constant, just like the Taker was, for WCW, like WWF or whatever. Objectively, like I said, I would say maybe like top 15.
Top
somewhere
15?
Around there and shit.
So top 10 personal, and then just objectively top 15?
Yeah, like the farthest I would put him would be top 20. But I could easily have him top 15 and be comfortable. Like I said, objectively, but my personal, I have him in top 10.
All right, JD.
All my favorite wrestlers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
JD.
Well, he's going to be on my, the Mount Rushmore series you just shot for us, J-Mac. Sting is actually going to be my solo wrestler, so I have his full stat sheet sitting right in front of me right now. I think Sting is definitely one of the best all time. I think his title reigns don't necessarily reflect that because, as Uncle Slam already touched on, he never needed the belt, just like Taker. If you look at Taker's title reigns, it's not super impressive, but how would you not rank him up there as one of the best all time too, right? So that's for Sting. He's a 4-time Hall of Famer. He was WCW's 3rd Triple Crown champion. He was undefeated in AEW, no singles matches. He was PWI, Pro Wrestling Illustrated Wrestler of the Year 4 different times. He was ranked number 1 one time as the number 1 wrestler. 2 times, and he was ranked 15th in all the way in 2003. He was 1 in 1992, and they ranked him 15th in 2003. He is, if you add up all his legitimate world title reigns, he is an 12-time world heavyweight champion. If you count NWA, WCW, TNA, AEW, he's a 12-time world champion, multi-time tag team champion. He was a 3-time tag team champion in WCW with 3 different partners. Only Marcus Bagwell has a better stat than that because he was a tag team champion 4 times with 4 different partners. So Marcus Bagwell is the only one that has a better stat in the tag team in terms of that in WCW than Sting. So for me, man, there's a handful of people that I would only put ahead of him. So he would have to be, for me, objectively top 5 or just outside the top 5. I put him on my Mount Rushmore, but that's because there's other wrestlers that I'm putting on my Mount Rushmore, and I didn't want to double up. So Sting is who I picked because some of the other picks are used in my Mount Rushmore picks. Okay. So objectively, it definitely top 5, just outside the top 5. And that's because also, and I would add that any wrestler you talk to that asks about Sting or that talks about Sting says how good of a person he is, how selfless he is, how much he's about the business and what's best for the business, not just himself. He's one of the most selfless wrestlers I think that we've seen in our lifetime. So that's the other reason that I would put him way up the list. He never tried to keep anybody else down at it for his own sake.
I definitely agree with that. He was not a selfish wrestler.
And just one more thing I want to add to what I was going to say and kind of add to what JD was saying. You know how we talked before about a moment, you want to have a wrestling moment. Well, Sting had those moments, like especially when he went to the Crow, the All Black.
Yeah.
That was that moment. He didn't have to say shit. He didn't say shit for months, just showing up.
Over a year.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Appearing, just looking, had so much effect on the crowd.
Pointing a bat.
Yeah, him saying nothing said so much. Yep. And then once he finally started swinging, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, to me, it's hard.
Say what you want about that Starrcade match, the hype up to it. There's a reason that Starrcade is the highest WCW pay-per-view of all time. So, and that's just one of those moments. The first time he won the world title from Ric Flair was one of those what just happened moments.
Great American Bash.
Beaten? How did that just happen, right?
That's actually that Great American Bash is actually one of my favorite Great American Bash and WCW pay-per-views ever. But for me, I'm going to have to be honest. Personally, Sting is in my top 5 all time because just like you all, when the real American Hulk Hogan and the training saying your prayers and vitamins was starting to wear thin and stuff and everything, and people were starting to kind of get tired of it and everything, Sting was kind of the guy I looked to be like that next Hogan-esque like person. Did he reach that stratosphere of Hogan? I don't think so. But for me, he did, personally. For WCW, yes. For the wrestling world, I don't think he reached that Hogan stratosphere, but I don't think, I don't know that anybody else really has. Even and that, I don't think he did. I don't think Hogan or Sting was as world renowned as Hogan was at the height of Hulkamania. But, like I said, for WCW, most definitely.
Yeah.
And in my personal opinion, he would have been a perfect heir apparent to Hulk Hogan. If you took the Ultimate Warrior and put Sting in his place in the WWF, it would have been a whole different story. We would have never had to worry about taking the title off of Sting like they did the Warrior.
Yep,
now, if you would have transported them two guys, Warrior would have fell flat on his face in WCW, and WCW may have closed a lot sooner than what it did.
Oh, yeah.
But objectively, I'm going to be honest with you, and I've said this before, Sting to me was the same as he was more athletic than Hogan, and he was probably a little bit better. I don't want to say a little bit better. what they needed him to do as compared to what they needed Hogan to do and Vince asked Hogan to do was a little bit different. Sting was a little bit more, just a little bit of a better wrestler. But
a way better wrestler.
I don't think, see, I can't say way better because I've watched Hogan's Japanese stuff and Hogan could wrestle when they asked him to. Vince is the one that told him, I just want you to go out there and get beat up for 30 minutes and then start shaking your head and kick somebody and leg drop them and, let's go home and you know, count our money on the way out the door. But for me, objectively, personally, top 5. Objectively, maybe top 25. And I would almost be willing to go. I would put him between 25 and 30. And it's just in-ring stuff because I love Sting. And I've been watching a couple of pay-per-views since I've been home from work on the WCW pay-per-views.
You were talking about his moveset in one of the other episodes that he does the right hand and then like the back chop and stuff.
Yeah, and then the one-handed bulldog. It was a very
yeah, but I'm going to give you hold on because I've been watching some Sting matches too. So in these matches, I've seen him do, of course, the Gorilla Press Slam. Everybody knows Press Slam. I've watched him do body slams in matches, vertical suplexes in matches, arm drags in matches,
basic moves
in matches.
Basic moves that everybody does.
But I'm saying he's not a 5-hold guy. He's not one of those guys that only does the
no. I'm just saying that
a wide arsenal of moves.
He does, but you knew what you were getting every match with Sting. You know what I'm saying? You knew you weren't going to get a Bret Hart, Chris Benoit, Shawn Michaels, barn burner like that. You were going to get him getting chopped in the corner and him looking at you and screaming and flexing in your face, kind of his Hulk Hogan, Hulk up type thing. I'm saying, and that's the only reason I put him down there like that is because, again, not saying he couldn't, he did exactly what they wanted him to do. And he made a lot of money doing it. And he became very popular doing it. So I'm not hating on him by any means.
Yeah.
But I just don't think as far as wrestling goes, he was the greatest wrestler. You know what I'm saying? He was a good entertainer. Great entertainer. I'll give him all day long because I ain't gonna lie.
That's not a bad specification there. Wrestler, entertainer. Yeah.
My flat top and my rat tail, just like he did and everything. And I was begging my mom to dye my hair blonde. Let's see here. Andrew said Sting tidbit. The year he blew out his knee, I think it was 1990, he was in negotiations with WWF and they backed out after he blew his knee out. I did hear, I've never heard anything confirmed about that, but I have heard that story before, Andrew. He also said Sting's mic skills didn't match his in-ring ability. That's why they gave him the crow gimmick and put him in the rafters so he didn't have to talk. I do agree with that. I don't think
he wasn't super great on the mic. He had a style. He had a style on the mic, and he got people amped up. I always like that. But yeah, he didn't. He wasn't like a Rock,
right?
You know what I mean. Like he couldn't just ad lib on the mic a little bit. But he being that he was also a babyface and stuff, he never wanted to get mean and stuff. So what I always found a little bit corny about Sting was when he would insult somebody because they would always be super corny or something. You know what I mean? Because he didn't ever get
butthead.
Yeah. Like it was, I'll stick a sock in your mouth. Like it was something, like that. So that was always a little bit corny part, but that's because of who he was as a person. He didn't want to say some of those dark and hateful things and stuff that some of the Attitude Era wrestlers were willing to say. I will say that in terms of his WWE deal, I know that I've seen Sting say several times that they tried to get him several times, but he never wanted. He never went. He never wanted to go. He's for whatever reason, he's listed a couple of different reasons why he never went to the WWE. I think ultimately is because Vince always wanted to own the Sting character.
Yes, and I think that's the main thing. He didn't want to. From what I've heard, he never wanted his character to change very much, and he was afraid the WWE would change it completely,
and for good reason,
right? Because they do that.
Yeah, and look what happened when they finally did get him.
just to round out what we were saying earlier, you said he was a Grand Slam champion. These are the
Triple Crown.
WCW. Well,
There was no Grand Slam in the WCW at that time. He was the third WCW Triple Crown champion. Meaning
they're
U.S. champion.
They've got him listed as a grand. They've got him listed as a Grand Slam. Because
the NWA TV title.
This is the list of WCW Grand Slam champions. It's Ric Flair, Sting, DDP, Booker T, Lex Luger, Barry Windham, and Scott Steiner. Now, they said that Ricky Steamboat, Dusty Rhodes, and Chris Benoit are sometimes mentioned in the discussion, depending on how strictly NWA history is. And, the way you objectively do it. I just thought that was interesting to throw in there since, you had mentioned a Grand Slam champion.
I said Triple Crown, but the Grand Slam, I don't have him. None of my stuff listed him as a WCW TV champion. Only an NWA TV champion. So
it was NWA, but the company had switched over to be in WCW. So I guess that's where how you view the NWA history and stuff goes. All righty, moving on to the next one. Rick Martel. The older I get, the more I respect this man. And hold on, Andrew said you can't leave out that great stable, dudes with attitudes. Exactly. Who was it? Lex Luger, the Steiners, Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff, and the Junkyard Dog were the dudes with attitudes.
Yeah.
But and they were there to fight the Horsemen. As a matter of fact, they all came out to the ring to stop the Horsemen from interfering during that Great American Bash match that he won his first world title. But Rick Martel disclosed, and like I said, the older I get, the more I respect and look back on Rick Martel and how great he was. I did not know that Rick Martel's last appearance for the WWE in, I believe it was 95, was in Montreal, and it was him running in because Shawn Michaels was beating up Pierre, I think it was. And Rick Martel ran in Montreal and started whooping Shawn Michaels and put him out of the ring and kind of had his hero moment and everything. That was whenever he went away from the model, I guess, the last time, and, was Rick Martel, and he became a face at the time. But Rick Martel has disclosed that WWE approached him to induct him into the WWE Hall of Fame, but he rejected it. For years, fans have been rallying to see Rick Martel get his flowers from WWE, multi-time tag team champion, the unforgettable model gimmick, and that legendary AWA world title reign. It felt like a Hall of Fame nod was overdue. Most of us thought WWE hadn't called yet. Turns out they did. The 70-year-old legend finally set the record straight in prime time with Sean Mooney. There's a name from the past, old Sean Mooney. Martel said that WWE actually reached out for an induction before, but he was the one who said not yet. I got a call, but I wasn't ready. Martel shared. Right now, the model is just enjoying life in his terms. As far as the Hall of Fame, he is not ruling it out. I'm just not sure if I would go. We'll see. Sometimes the timing has to be right for the legend, not just the fan respect. Do you all think he deserves a Hall of Fame induction? And do you think he should have probably been an Intercontinental Champion in the WWE?
I don't know.
Or whoever.
Slam, do you want to go?
I'll let you go first if you want.
All right. A Hall of Fame induction, I think, sure. That I don't have a problem with that. He's certainly a staple in the wrestling industry for multiple companies. And I think he deserves that nod. What was the other question? Should he have been the champion? No. Should he
have been an Intercontinental Champion?
I don't know. I don't know about that. I think
so. As the model gimmick, I think that would have been perfect. And no pun intended. But I think, after Perfect, him and Brett fighting over that title for a minute, while Shawn was still stepping up to Brett's level, I think he at least one reign. You know what I'm saying? Because all he ever had in the WWE was a tag team title reign, and that was it. I feel like he should have at least had one. Uncle Slam?
Well, see, that's what I was getting ready to. I was wondering. I'm like, so what accolades does he really have as far as
One of the longest reigning AWA world champions ever.
Are we talking about it in a pro wrestling Hall of Fame, or are we talking about WWE Hall of Fame? Like, I mean, what context are we saying Hall of Fame?
WWE. They're the ones who the fans are wanting him in there.
Well, then I guess being the world champion someplace else really don't matter much, does it?
The Midnight Express are in the WWE Hall of Fame, and they never wrestled for the WWE.
I don't understand that either, honestly. But
Because
that's besides the point. On the that's neither here nor there.
It's because the WWE owns the history of the AWA and the NWA.
Right.
And like they own its history. So, and the World Class Championship Wrestling, they own all of the content.
Yeah.
It's all WWE now.
I'm gonna say no, honestly. Like I don't see why. Like I said, I mean, like he was a mid Carter. I mean, like I felt like he should have been like an Intercontinental champ. Honestly, like I thought he was at one point at least. To find out that he's not kind of makes my point even more that like shouldn't the Hall of Fame kind of mean that you done something big and important? I don't really see the model as that.
I think the problem is at the time there was just so much going on around that title.
I think the problem was he was better at. I think the problem was he was better at getting punched in the face than punching people in the face.
Maybe that's what it was. Yeah, but
there's some wrestlers who sell better than other wrestlers, right? I mean, there are some wrestlers that sell moves better than other wrestlers and can put people over.
Well, don't forget though, he was also a WCW television champion too. Him and Booker,
not all about that.
Him and Booker T were having some pretty good matches.
Oh shoot, I forgot about that, dude. That was a total mistake. That wasn't supposed to happen.
If you watch, that's how his career ended, because he got monkey flipped, where you take your feet, put them in the stomach, and flip them over. And when he got monkey flipped, his knee hit the top rope and totally pulled apart. Dislocated, like it's gnarly looking if you watch the tape on it and everything. Yeah, it's bad. I don't know. I like Martel. I respect him a lot more than what I did back then.
I did forget about that run with the TV title with Booker T and stuff. I did completely forget about that.
With that crappy version. I hated that version of the TV title. It was ugly. They tried to replicate the big gold belt, and all it was light heavyweight championship from a few years earlier. It was just ugly. I don't know. I hate that version. The one that Kevin Nash threw it in the trash is who it was. All righty. Oh, yeah. I want to give a shout out to Tyler Main. I don't know if you all know who this is, but I guess you probably will because of the movie Uncle Slam. He was the guy that played Sabretooth in the original X-Men and Deadpool.
Yep.
He just came out and showed that 1% of men get breast cancer. And he has it.
Wow.
He is battling breast cancer as of right now. So I just wanted to put some spotlight on that, and everybody say prayers and well wishes and everything to him that he can battle this. Thank God they caught it early. It's very treatable, as they said. But like he said, just because it's only 1% for men doesn't mean it can't happen to you, so get yourself checked.
Breast cancer when
it is.
No breast.
It is.
More be like a pectoral cancer.
It's considered breast cancer.
It's still the breastbone, the breast muscle.
Yeah,
we as men are the ones that specify pec muscles or whatever, but it's actually not the correct term. The correct term is actually breast. It's your breastbone. It's your breast muscle. Yeah,
it's your breasticles.
Shut the fuck
up. But yeah, well, that's where women's testicles are. They have their breasticles.
Yeah,
but they just everybody say a little prayer for him and everything. And in that same spirit, keep your prayers up for Conan.
Yeah.
Conan underwent a procedure to amputate his second leg during a health crisis, but it has been reported, Vince Russo reported that Conan's second leg was amputated, but the WWE covered all medical bills.
Well, that's great.
So that's awesome. Yes. I mean, I hate to see him going downhill like that because I don't know what it was about him, but I liked him. I liked Conan.
I never really liked him until he switched out of whatever the hell he was doing in WCW when he came down in a grass skirt. That was nonsense. His first TV title run, when he was, I don't know what he was supposed to be or what the gimmick was. I guess it was supposed to be something Hispanic, something Mexican related, but wasn't until he started turning into a gangster that I actually started liking what his gimmick was, and that's what made me notice his wrestling style. If you go back, he's actually even better when he was younger, far younger. He was crazy, but.
Max Moon.
He did grow on me, especially with the Wolfpack and stuff. I thought he was a perfect addition, and everything he did with Rey Mysterio and the Filthy Animals and stuff after that, I thought worked out exactly the way it was supposed to. And he was always a cruiserweight. He always wanted to push the cruiser, like the Lucha Libre style. He always wanted to let them get over and let them get more recognized. So,
and he's the whole reason why I know the saying "Olale arriba la raza."
Please don't ever say that again.
You're right. I can't roll my R's like he can, so it's terrible. You know,
that's just the tip of the iceberg of what you just said. Buddy.
I got that Kentucky accent on it, and it just don't work.
No, it really don't.
All righty.
So, like, what's going on with his health? Well, I mean, like, is he diabetic? Is he?
I think it is. I think it's diabetes that's causing him to have the leg issues and stuff and everything. I don't know 100% for sure. I don't want to say for sure, but if I'm not mistaken, it's what I read about a year or so ago.
Was he in charge of AAA for a while or whatever?
He still, I think, is part of the creative team. But I think he's had to take, of course, a leave of absence because of everything that's happening. Yeah. But yeah, I wish him well too. It's crazy, man. We're losing too many of these guys. And I know that happens with time and everything. But anyways, here's a fun little fact.
Health matters.
Yes.
Health matters. Take care of yourself.
Yes, it
does.
Watch
what you eat, J-Mac, right? We were just talking about that the other night.
Exactly. Here's a fun little fact for you. You know, there's only been 2 people to ever win the Royal Rumble and not become the world champion, and that's Shinsuke Nakamura and Big John Studd.
That is at opposite ends of the spectrum there.
But honestly and truthfully, this is not a correct fact because there's 3 people who won the Royal Rumble and never won the world title, and the third was the man who won the very first Royal Rumble, and he goes by the name of Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Big John Studd won the very first pay-per-view Royal Rumble. Hacksaw Jim Duggan won the very first Royal Rumble event. Wasn't a pay-per-view event. Yeah. All righty, let's see. We were talking about Chad Gable and everything. AJ Styles came out and said he's a bigger superstar than he's ever been at this very moment. And if we don't capitalize, I say we, because I am part of WWE, we don't capitalize on this, we're dumb. We're dummies. I agree with him. Chad Gable is one of the most over wrestlers right now.
He's the only one. He's the only one that I see that is good. That is the next. He's next. Like, you know, you got the Randy Ortons, you got the John Cenas, you got some of those staples. Gunther's good. You know, he'll be around a little bit longer yet. Of course, Obafemi. Like, you have some other good people, but Chad Gable could be that glue that holds it together.
Mm-hmm. He's just that good. I agree with you. What do you think, Uncle Slam?
I liked him. Like I said, I liked him when, you know, at first I didn't know much about him. And then, you know, of course, the Americana, you know, the whole gimmick. And then, you know, when you had the 2 different ones. And then the whole Master Mask that they had, I think it was either last week or the week before. It was a pretty good match because I watched it too. I liked him. Like I said, I enjoyed him, you know, back when he was, you know, trying to be a luchador, and I think he's got an interesting style. I'm cool with him and stuff. Like, I definitely want to see more. Like, I don't really know that much about him, but from what I've seen, like, I do like him.
I agree 100%. I think they need to give him a shot. All righty. We're getting ready to chuck out of here. So I've got my last 2 stories here. What do y'all think about the fact that Vince McMahon and Janelle Grant have both asked for the sex trafficking lawsuit to be moved into private arbitration, which basically means that he's going to avoid any jail time and he's just got to pay a
He's
big
gonna pay
fine.
her off.
Write
Let's
her
just
a
call it what it is. They
big
coming up with a number.
money, 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 money.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to discount anybody and their story. And if the woman was, assaulted in a way that she shouldn't have been, then the people involved need to be held accountable. But when you're willing to not hold those people accountable and turn around and just say, give me some money, it makes me question whether or not you actually participated more than what you think you did or said you did. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to discount any victim of anything.
No. I understand where you're coming from there, but man, when you're looking at $50 million, do you give a crap what happened to you in the past? All you can see is, what am I going to get with this money? Especially if that person was a worker and only, works like a regular job and stuff. Yeah. Moving to private. If Vince McMahon came up to me and said, I'll give you $50 million, I might think about it for a little bit. Yeah. I mean, money talks.
Yes, it does. And that's what I'm saying. But I don't know. I'm torn.
I get what you're saying. I completely do understand what you're saying. Yeah. Because it shouldn't be a way in this country for rich people to be able to buy their way out of prison. That's what you're trying to get out.
I agree.
Is that people shouldn't, if he did something wrong, then he should be held accountable, regardless of whether he pays her off or not. There should be some kind of repercussions or consequences for it. And I do understand that.
Well, see, I see both sides of it, but at the same time, I also see that, like, if she's going to get paid regardless. Now, like I said, let's say if she took him to court and he gets locked up, she's still going to take his ass to civil court. She's still going to get $50 million anyway. So maybe she's looking at it as like, he's suffering one way or another. I don't know if I look at it. I can't say that I would look at her too much less for taking the money and shit, because she's going to get it regardless anyway. Like whether she won the criminal trial first and then got the civil, or like if she just skipped the whole criminal and just went straight to civil, and that's what she's going for. Now, it does look a little shady that she, in some people's eyes, that maybe she just wants the money. And if something bad happened to her, then I guess she's deserving of the money. And if that's what it takes to be compensated, or $50 million, because that is life-changing money to a lot of people. That buys a lot of therapy. That, like I said, it's life-changing money.
So I think that's what it's going to come down to, Uncle Slam, right? Is how much does she get from him? What's the settlement going to be? Is it going to?
It's going to be millions or whatever the hell it is. Like I said, there's no way we're getting a little $500 million and shit. Like, I mean, she knows he's worth billions, and it's going to be a nice settlement.
She's going to get paid.
Yes. And if they're both happy with it, then I guess okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, it'd be different if one of them was like, no, man, I don't like this agreement, or no, fuck this agreement, I don't want to do this. But if they're both saying, okay, this is what I want, I don't want to, drag this shit out in court, I don't want to rehash this in front of the whole world and tell this in front of, jurors and strangers and have this shit publicized, I'd rather just wrap it up. I'm okay with that.
I agree. However it turns out, if he's wrong, he needs to pay. In whatever way, and I guess it just breaks down to whatever way she feels is appropriate for him to pay.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's her story. But like I said, it just makes me question things sometimes. Like you said, that rich people have a way in this country of just getting out of trouble and avoiding being in trouble because they have money. Because if that was any of us, we're doing 20 years.
Oh, easily.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the BS of it to me.
Yeah.
All righty. My last story here is going to have a bit of a, I guess, conspiratorial thing to it, because I've been keeping up with this, and Brooke Hogan is bringing a lot of attention to her dad's death. I don't know if y'all have heard anything about this, but authorities finish investigation into WWE icon Hulk Hogan's unfortunate passing. Now, in saying that, Brooke posted this on her story on Facebook. It said, Clearwater Police, then there's no blood. Clearwater Police now found nothing in his toxicology. Clearwater Police then. There's no footage from inside his living room. Clearwater Police now. We reviewed the footage inside the living room with Nick and Sky. Clearwater Police then. There's no body cam footage and 911 call. This is everything we have, Brooke. Brooke and husband now sees new extended body cam footage online. Make it make sense. She has had people calling her, and these are healthcare workers that were there. I think there was a police officer that was there. Hey, it's actually very funny. I am not even going to lie. The gentleman we were just talking about that has breast cancer, I am watching the pay-per-view that he's on. He's just walked out, Big Sky, the guy that played Sabretooth. That is crazy. You talk about a little prophetic there and everything.
Nice.
That's really cool. He's literally walking down to the ring. He was also one of Kevin Nash's tag team partners whenever Nash was Vinny Vegas. Sorry about that. I just looked up and seen him walk out, and that kind of messed me up. That's cool. Yeah, well wishes again, though. But she has been told, again, like she's put on there, that there is more footage. There is more calls, more evidence that there may have been something going on inside that house. I'm not saying necessarily he was murdered, but there were people taking advantage of Hulk Hogan in the last days and just milking the money they were making off of him. Because she posted this picture too of him recently signing an autograph. And that's the way you can look under there and see the way his autograph normally is. And then the scribbling is his autograph just before he died. That doesn't look like somebody was in their cognitive right mind.
Well, didn't he have a stroke or something?
No, he just had when he had that neck surgery, they clipped his nerve that made him breathe. And that's why he was in the coma and all this other stuff. But it says, this is how hard my dad was being worked by people who supposedly loved him and said he was doing great. Yeah, great financially supporting him. That is how he was signing his autograph. And she's pointing to it. It doesn't look anything like what was underneath it in between the Brewed in the USA 12-ounce cans of light beer.
It's not surprising. I mean, it's not surprising. I don't find this story surprising at all.
I don't either.
Not surprised at all.
I do, but I don't. And I don't want to put any accusations out there or anything, but
the home healthcare industry in this country is
shit.
Shenanigans. Yeah. And I'm in the middle of it. So you can take it to the bank that someone who deals with it on a daily basis, who's in it, is telling you how bullshit it is.
I just want them to do a thorough investigation and make sure people weren't abusing him in the last days. And by people, I don't know if we're talking about his wife. I don't know if we're talking about Jimmy Hart. And I would hate to think that, but Jimmy Hart was there a lot. He was, around him a lot. I don't know who, but I feel like if you were having somebody sign an autograph and that's the best autograph they could give, we need to shut the show down. We're not going to be doing any autographs because this man's hurting. He's not well. He can't write.
And it could have been from the healthcare workers themselves, or it could have been Nick. I mean, again, I don't have any evidence to support that, but if Nick and his girlfriend, quote unquote, were there living with him towards the end, it's
right.
Nick, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. And I don't know anything about Nick except for that he was in the series with him and then went to jail for some weird stuff under some weird circumstances.
I just think that I think they need to not be so quick on shutting down the investigation and maybe start looking into a few people and seeing what was happening. Like I said, I don't think he was murdered, but I think there definitely may have been people abusing the fact that they were associated
Yeah.
with Hulk Hogan and they could still milk some money out of Hulk Hogan while he was still alive, is what I think was going on. And I think that's what Brooke's argument is.
They didn't even include Brooke in the Netflix documentary.
She didn't want to be.
Yeah.
She
That's
totally
weird.
removed she
I thought
removed herself from the will. She removed herself from everything. She wanted
I
no
thought
part of nothing.
I did hear about the will, but I thought they didn't even approach her about the Netflix special.
She said that. Yeah, she definitely said that, but she said I wouldn't have participated anyway. But she was, I think she was kind of fed up with Hulk Hogan and wanted her dad, Terry Bollea.
I just want to point out that anybody who knows about Hulk Hogan and what things that have happened in his life watched that documentary and was like, well, you're missing an entire gap by not having Brooke on there and having her point of view, because Linda and Nick's point of view are so skewed in that documentary. It's crazy to me. When I watched it, I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, I cannot believe Linda and Nick are really doing this. Like, I'm really shocked.
Well, it's awful funny that Linda was just, I can't stand him. I can't stand him, as long as he was alive, making sure her alimony payments were being done. And now that, he passed away, it was, oh, I love him. And he was great. He was the love of my life.
That was the worst part. Cause I know anybody who's a real fan knows how they split up.
Yep.
Like, come on, give me a break. And then she was basically made to be the star of that, this lonely widow.
Yep.
I'm not buying it. It's Netflix. You're so crap. That's why I just canceled your membership again, because you're nonsense. So tired of you.
Uncle Slam, you got any final thoughts on that Hulk Hogan ordeal?
Like I said, I mean, obviously something happened. I don't know what. I wouldn't be surprised. Like elderly abuse is a big thing, and especially when it comes to like celebrities, especially if he wasn't in his right mind. I would just investigate more, because if he's signing autographs, make sure he's not signing legal papers. Maybe giving authority, or giving out money that he shouldn't be, or whatever. That's what I would just be. I would be more worried about, um, because you just don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, and plus he was somebody that did have a lot of money. Stuff, and unfortunately, when you have a lot of money, that people want to take it, and especially when they sense weakness. So it's just
I agree.
unfortunate.
It is. It's very unfortunate. Guys, do some, not you all, but everybody out there, if y'all hear anything, please send it my way. I'd love to hear more about this if you find out. Tomorrow, 6 p.m., doors open, Danville, Kentucky, Jenny Rogers Community Center, EWA Ignition. I do not have a card right here in front of me, but it is going to be live on YouTube as well. Bell starts at 7. Going to have a great lineup, I'm sure, because they always do. Come out, see us. Headlocks will be there. All the great stars of EWA. Anybody got anything else? JD, you want to plug anything before we get out of here?
Check out the storefronts, the Mayhem Diamonds, courtesy of Austin and Scott Diamond and our graphic artists, Mayhem Zecto. Go follow Austin and Scott Diamond. They have public pages, and visit the storefront, bonfire.com/store/Mayhem Media Shop, and pick yourself up one.
Sounds good. Uncle Slam, you got anything else?
No, sir. I'm tapped out for tonight.
Guys, I think referees hit that 3 count. We appreciate everybody being here. We appreciate all the love, all the comments and everything, but referees hit that 3 count, so we're going to ring that damn bell. Oh, I got